тем, кто позволяет себе такие заявления в отношении России, хочу напомнить, что наша страна также располагает различными средствами поражения, а по отдельным компонентам и более современными, чем у стран.
It all started with a stern warning from Sergei Ryabkov, the Russian deputy foreign minister. He made it crystal clear that if NATO dares to deploy nuclear weapons in Poland, Russia will consider those facilities as military targets. Ryabkov emphasized that the placement of any NATO nuclear assets in the territory of countries joining the alliance after 1997, including Poland, would be perceived as an extraordinary threat to Russia's security. Moscow views joint NATO nuclear missions near its borders as a direct threat. Ryabkov minced no words, stating that any steps towards the permanent deployment of nuclear weapons in Poland would not add to the country's security. In fact, he made it abundantly clear that the relevant facilities would be targeted by Russia. The Russian government issued these stern warnings as Poland expressed readiness to host NATO's nuclear warheads. Talks between Warsaw and the US regarding this matter have been ongoing, raising concerns due to Russia's military presence near the Polish border, including in Belarus and Kaliningrad. NATO has not officially announced the deployment of nuclear weapons to Poland, but the alliance is strengthening its eastern flank in response to the perceived Russian threat. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has pledged a significant defense boost to combat threats from Russia, Iran, China, and North Korea. The consequences of a potential nuclear conflict between Russia and NATO are catastrophic. A nuclear war simulator predicts unimaginable devastation, and Vladimir Putin's potential deployment of nukes in space adds to growing concerns. De-escalation of tensions and finding a peaceful resolution is crucial to avoid a devastating conflict that could have far-reaching consequences for the entire region and beyond. Polish President Andrzej Duda has declared Poland's preparedness to accommodate NATO nuclear weapons on its territory if the alliance decides to bolster its eastern border defenses against Russia. Duda stated that if allies decide to deploy nuclear weapons as part of nuclear sharing on Polish land to strengthen NATO's eastern flank security, they are ready for it. This comes in response to Russia's reported deployment of nuclear weapons in neighboring Belarus, which shares borders with Poland and other NATO members. Poland has previously expressed openness to nuclear sharing within NATO, similar to arrangements where the US provides nuclear weapons for other NATO members to deploy and store. Prime Minister Donald Tusk, who shares Duda's views on national security, has expressed the need for urgent discussions regarding this suggestion, stating he would like to know all the circumstances behind Duda's declaration. The Kremlin has responded to this suggestion, stating that the military would analyze the situation and take necessary steps to ensure Russian security if such plans were implemented. Poland, a strong advocate for neighboring Ukraine in its ongoing conflict with Russia, has increased its military spending over fears that Russia could be seeking to invade, more than doubling its arms budget since the Kremlin annexed Crimea from Ukraine in 2014. NATO has not officially announced the deployment of nuclear weapons to Poland, but the alliance is strengthening its eastern flank in response to the perceived Russian threat. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak of the United Kingdom has pledged a significant defense boost to combat threats from Russia, Iran, China, and North Korea. The strengthening of NATO's posture in Eastern Europe comes as tensions continue to escalate between Russia and the alliance. Moscow has responded to Poland's readiness to host NATO nuclear weapons by stating that the military would analyze the situation and take necessary steps to ensure Russian security if such plans were implemented. Poland, a strong advocate for neighboring Ukraine in its ongoing conflict with Russia, has increased its military spending over fears that Russia could be seeking to invade, more than doubling its arms budget since the Kremlin annexed Crimea from Ukraine in 2014. Meanwhile, U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin and NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg have discussed the importance of strengthening the transatlantic defense industrial base to continue material support to Ukraine and to bolster NATO's deterrence and defense posture. In summary, while NATO has not officially announced nuclear deployments to Poland, the alliance is taking steps to reinforce its eastern flank and deter potential Russian aggression, with Poland playing a key role in these efforts. Regarding the consequences of a potential nuclear conflict, a nuclear war simulator predicts catastrophic consequences in a conflict between Russia and NATO. The smoke and soot from nuclear explosions would block out the sun, resulting in worldwide crop failure and plunging global temperatures by about 13 degrees Fahrenheit, a larger temperature change than the last ice age. In the first month following nuclear detonation, average global temperatures would plummet and ocean temperatures would drop quickly, not returning to pre-war levels even after the smoke clears. This would cause sea ice to expand by over 6 million square miles, blocking major ports and disrupting shipping across the northern hemisphere. The sudden drop in light and ocean temperatures would kill marine algae, the foundation of the marine food web, essentially creating a famine in the oceans and halting most fishing and aquaculture. Recovery of the oceans is likely to take decades at the surface and hundreds of years at depth. Researchers estimate that a full-scale nuclear war between the US and Russia could directly kill 360 million people, with over 5 billion more dying as a consequence from starvation. Even a smaller-scale nuclear conflict between India and Pakistan could result in over 2 billion deaths from famine. Vladimir Putin's potential deployment of nuclear weapons in space raises further concerns, as the global interconnectedness of Earth systems means the consequences of nuclear war would be catastrophic for everyone, regardless of which nations are involved. Experts emphasize the urgent need to avoid nuclear war, as the effects are likely to be globally catastrophic with no possibility of effective recovery or rebuilding of society in the aftermath. Diplomatic efforts to de-escalate tensions and find a peaceful resolution are crucial to prevent such a devastating outcome.